I think we are live right now. Let me double check. I think we are live right now. Let me double check. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, hey guys. Hopefully you are doing fine. I actually have no idea what I am about to do today. I do have a brief idea on my. I'm not an idea, but I have a brief plan on what I want to do today. But I'm not 100% sure on how to do it because, yeah, I don't know. But I do want to basically improve the tooling that I have for the language that I'm building. And right now it's pretty bare bones. There's not a lot of things for it actually. So if we take a look at this right here, it's pretty simple. It's just a binary that is used to recompile things, and there's a few other options like running it after it's built, so this is not the greatest implementation, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. I need to make sure that this is actually a lot better because it's not really scalable. It's kind of weird and not overall not great. It worked when I first started it, when it was simple and I didn't really have a lot of things implemented that would require some sort of testing or whatever. But now I do have a lot of things and I do want to expand on whatever I already have here. So I do have a few files, but I want to expand the amount of things that I have in here. But the idea is that I have a bunch of different examples, I guess, that I want to be able to test. And not only test, I want to also be able to see if there's an error or there's a failure or it's something that is unexpected, so maybe a failure is expected, so I want to double check for that as well. So just create a mechanism for me to be able to differentiate when something is out of the ordinary or it's out of something that I wasn't expecting. It's something that I'm not expecting, I guess. It's the word that I'm looking for. It's something that I don't expect, so I want to be able to quickly test that out. And right now it's not really easy for me to do that. I mean, sure, I could just use my binary and then just pass the examples from this folder, and that would probably work, but this is something that I need to scale because I want to run that as a sort of like a unit test or something. It's not really a unit test, but so yeah, as you can see, it's something failed in here, but if we run other things, we can see that there is something that is not correct, and we can take a look at this, why it's the problem. So if you take a look at procs, we can see that there is something that is not working, I guess. Binary ops 1, yeah, so this doesn't really exist, so we could say something like new variable 3 for whatever reason, and then we can, where is the build, and it is working. So basically this is the idea. Make sure that I can run everything that is inside of this folder as a unit test or something that I can eventually improve and include new features. I did include new things since last stream, so if we take a look at this this example that I have in here, there's a bunch of things, and I basically included this keyword in here, then, which is basically used when you have a single line of a if statement. but I also made sure that people can actually just use this. That should work just fine. So if I do this, it should work. It is just saying, okay, we are expecting a then, but we didn't find it. That's fine, but you should probably include a then, because no, that is kind of nice. I don't want to block anyone for doing things like people doing C, so something like this. I want to make sure that it is in fact possible, and when it is something that is not possible, so for instance in the else branch, it is something that is not expected, it is going to fail, but otherwise it is working as expected. So this is allowed, but just gives you a warning because maybe you like it that way. I don't, so I included it like this to make it easier for anyone to understand these statements when they happen. And we can mix and match as well. So as you can see, I can have a branch in here with an if that is actually doing a bunch of weird fucking ass shit, but in the else if and then the else, it just works. It's just expecting a statement after the then or after else, and that is fine. So it is working, and I basically want to be able to include these examples as well in the tests folder. Not only that, I want to also be able to include weird things like this right here. This is not something that is allowed, so if you take a look at it, it's going to fail because then is not allowed in here. It's fully aware of it's not fully aware, it is expecting a scope after the return type of this function, so it only works with scopes. So it's something that I really want to be able to test, and if it fails, I want to be very explicit that it failed and I need to fix that because that's a bug or something. So yeah, and how I want to do that, I have no idea. So I think I can start looking into it, I guess, because the idea here is that I do have this program that is responsible for basically for basically doing everything that I've been doing so far. So it is responsible for building the actual compiler and everything else related to the actual compiler, and it's kind of a bootstrap, and this comes from something that is called, let me get it, knob.h. This is something that I actually stole and I've been using in here. So this is basically what I've been doing. I can maybe include something like, just for the sake of giving the correct attributions, this code was basically copied from knob.h, and that's it. And a lot of the things that I have in here are basically implementation of whatever is in this right here, and I can even show you. So it is something that Soren made, and he's a maintainer of that. It's basically a C library for header only library, very important to say that is responsible for is responsible for compiling your C program directly using C, because CMake is a mess and shell can be annoying, so bash scripts and whatnot, so it can be quite annoying. Make itself is kind of annoying, so this is a library for you to make your own commands in the language itself. And that's where I got the idea of doing this for Go, for this project that I'm working on, because I feel like it's better to have a full-blown language for you to do something instead of weird ass fucking third-party dependencies that don't actually work at all. So yeah, and here I do have a lot of things that are helpful, but they are not the best implementation, I guess. And the first thing that I'm thinking about is not using whatever I'm using for arguments. I think I want to use flags because it's just so much nicer to work with flags instead of using arguments that you can pass through the CLI. And I think it is so much easier to understand them. So Golang flags library. Yeah, this right here is what I'm talking about. So this right here, this is basically a way for us to parse flags, and make sure that we can use them on the actual program, and instead of having this weird behavior that I have where I'm switching between arguments and keeping track of things manually, which is kind of annoying. Basically I just delete that and have my own thing, my own flag logic, I guess. So yeah, I think I will start with that. Let's see what happens. So first thing first, let's include the flags in here. I think it's just flag. Yes. And also I will basically exit in here because I don't want to delete anything for now, and I want to test things out, but I don't want to do this weird ass fucking shit that I'm doing right now. Let's see. So how can I do that? Actually, I don't remember. So I think there's something like a init or something. Let me check examples for that. Golang flag example. I don't remember how to use it. It is I remember there are things that we can flag. Then we should parse later, but I don't remember everything. So let's maybe start with something simple. So can we have like arguments, flags with arguments or something? So what I'm looking for is something like when we are building something, so we can have like chaos C or something. I don't care right now about naming, and then I can just say like this is the file that I want, I guess. So I can say like C compile this main.chaos, I guess. And I want to be able to have an argument that is a parameter that accepts an argument. That's the idea. So let's see. We can try it. Let's do something very simple. Just get the actual yeah, let's see if we can find this. Actually, let's do the following. So we can get the file name. The file name is basically the flag, and I think there's a string, I guess, but I don't know. It is the name, the value, and the usage, I guess. So the name would be -c or something. The value, we don't have a default value, I guess. And usage is the description, I would assume, if I'm not mistaken. What the fuck? I just need to know what is that. So I think that's it. This is for help, I guess. Not sure. So this is like used to chaos file to be compiled or something. I don't know, whatever. I just want to make sure that it's working. And then I think we need to do flag parse or something. Now, after we have parsed, basically we can just try to print it to see what is the result that we get. So if we say file name is like this, and then we can just say fuck, and then we can pass the file name. So let's see what happens if I do this. Unexpected new line 27. Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What is this? Huh? What? No. Wait a minute. What is this? What? Why though? What is this? No idea. Anyways. Yes, if we say it like testing or yes, I need to actually do this and then do this, and then if I say this, I can say the file name, and then there's a fucking error. Nice. So it doesn't like this -c, I guess. That's the problem. So if I do this, it is in fact working. It doesn't like the dash. Okay. That is fine, I guess. And if we don't have a default value, we can basically just fail, maybe. I think that's a good approach. We just fail because we don't provide anything. And I feel like I should be using probably logs to make sure I know what the actual fuck is happening. Maybe. Let's see. Anyway, so here is the actual, the actual fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? This is the behavior that we want. The other thing that I want is to have like a run binary or something, run result binary or whatever, I don't really care. So let's say that it's a basically just a boolean, and we do have a boolean. What do we expect? Name value usage. I think we should just call it R. The default value, I think it is just a boolean, right? Yes. The default should be false, and this is basically run binary after compilation. That should be fine, I guess. And then I can just print it, and this would be like, I don't remember what is the thing for booleans. I think it's like O or something, I don't remember. V run keys binary, I don't actually remember. And if we do this dash R, it is true. Great. And in that case we would actually compile and run the binary in the same process, I guess. I am not using different process for now because I don't feel like we should be doing things in, I don't want to fork anything, at least not for now, I guess. Maybe later we can, but when we have a problem we can make sure that this is not parallel technically, or would it technically be parallel? I guess so. Yeah, whatever. So these are the things. So oh yeah, one other thing that I want to do is basically have a default behavior, default compilation, which is only for me to debug things. So I don't even know what we would have in here. So it is not a string, I guess, it is something else. But what is this something else? Is that like a I don't have a I mean, whatever. We can just say that this is just a boolean, I guess. And we can say that is default. The value is default by the default is false. And then this is running default file for development purposes. Sure. And then we can basically do the same thing. This is, we just need to change the name for this. This is this, and this is default compilation. We can just take that and we can just put it in here because this is higher precedence, I guess. So if we just say like, I guess default, it should work. Right? Yes, it should, right? Like this. Yeah. Okay. So now that we have this, we can pretty much have different behaviors, I guess, for different things. Sure, I guess. So if we have this default compilation in here, sorry, if we have this, basically we are just running before that. Actually, we need to do this. This is the first thing that we need to do. We need to create build if it doesn't exist. If it does exist, then we can do whatever. So the default compilation is basically this, I guess, which makes sense. And we don't really have CMD, which is fine. We can just say this is the CMD, and then we can say which is the default value, which is this one, right? We can change it later. We can even say that this is const, just for the sake of, you know. Why is it complaining? Argmain is a func value, not call. What do you mean? Is this because of that? Huh? Not called? What do you mean not called? Fucking hate thing. Anyways, why is it complaining? I don't know. I don't get it. Main. Oh, I see. That's why. Okay, no, that's fine. We can have it in here. This is not even main, this is source. Whatever. Yes. Let's close this. Okay. And now if I run this, it doesn't work, I guess. Why? It's an error, I guess, when we are running something. Okay, yeah, that's the problem. Okay, that's fine. So it is in fact working. We can, nice. Okay, now in addition to that, this is the default behavior. Let's now do the compilation that we can just pass whatever value, because if we don't pass this, the precedence, yeah, so it's technically exclusive, right? It's either the default behavior that only should exist when I'm doing compilation, I'm doing debug or whatever. I can even do something like, I don't know, const debug true or something, and this is only available if it is compilation and debug. Otherwise, that's not the case. Yeah, but if I come here, change that to false, it doesn't really do anything, I guess. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in here. So if I go to build, I guess, and I just remove main, if I go back and try it again, we don't have anything inside of build. Yeah, even though it printed something, it doesn't really work, which is fine. I can even maybe have no, I'll keep it in here just for requires debug equal to true. You never know, maybe I will forget it someday, so who knows. Now, if we have the file name, right? If I have a file name, yeah, it doesn't really work, right? If it is not equal to new, I guess. Then I can do something, otherwise I can just yeah, sure, I'll do it for now. Later I can improve it, because probably I want to have an error message in here, but I don't feel like I should have the error message here. It should be probably closer to here, since this value should exist. Actually, it's not supposed to be something that doesn't. So this is a requirement. Even if there's nothing in here, it's an error, I guess. But not right now. I don't really care about error handling right now. I can do it later. Anyways, so if we do that, then what we need to do, we need to basically have whatever I have in here, and if it's failing, then that's a problem that I need to basically fix, and this is no longer main, this is src, and that is fine. Is it fine though? Sorry, this is wrong actually. I need to actually change it, because the thing that I need to do is get this command that I have, and then I need to basically build it so that I need to basically do this, but instead of main, that would be the actual file name that we got here. I guess, because we need to build this. No, what I'm doing. I see. No, so first things first. If I have a file name, basically I need to... One thing that I can do, actually, let me start making things a little bit easier on myself right now. So if I do this right here, this is the thing that I need to do first. So I will touch this file and I can return basically if error is equal to new. So what we have in here, this is whatever error, and what, yeah, so, and then basically we need to check if the actual error is not equal to new, and then if it is not equal, then we can run this, and instead of file name it should be just the src, because we need to rebuild it. And this is the actual command that we have in here. This is fucking ugly, but whatever. And after that, after that I need to basically do a new command, but instead of compiling whatever, I am basically compiling the file name that I provided in here. And this is the file name in here. And that should be fine, I guess. I would assume. So what is the problem? I need to pass a file, right? And that would be this right here. So this is the location. You can have location. And you can just use location here. And instead of this, we have location. That is fine. What is the problem? Undefined. Yeah, so that's because sure. And in here, we need to dereference this. And I think that should be fine. So let's see. This is the result of the binary, basically. We have here as an output, this is the source file, or folder, I guess. We run it, and then we run the compiler on the actual program. I think that's it. So if I do like this, it should be working. And then I can just say like C testing. So it failed, I guess, because of that. So it wasn't able to find something, I guess. Or yeah, so it didn't find something, that's why it created the actual thing. Which is fine, I guess. Yeah, I think it is fine. That's just an error message because it wasn't able to find something, so it continued execution as if it was expected. Because it didn't find it, so it created something, and then it compiled something, and that's fine. Nice. And the thing is, I think maybe we could have something like this. This is the result location that we have with main. This is actually our program. Maybe we can even call this KOC or something, I guess. Let's see what happens. If I do something like this, and then if we look into build, we do have KLC, so if we remove build.main, and then we can do something like this, and we do default, it should work. That's yeah, this is not main anymore. This is basically location. This is the binary. This is the compiler location. And in here we do have the same thing. Fucking what? What is happening here? Okay. Compiler location. And then if I do this and then this, it should be fine. So why it's not working? That's because I need to change it in here as well, so let me do this. And probably I think we can even make something a little bit different, so we can just have it like in here as a step prior to the actual implementation, I guess. So this is like this, so this should be executed dependent on whatever we have currently. Then we have this, and then we have this using whatever, and instead of having main, we have the location twice. So this is it. And in here we can just say like compiler location twice. And that should be fine. Huh? What do you mean you don't have it? We just created it. We have the build and then this. Huh? Let me remove main. And if I do testing, it is working in fact. So if I look into build, and if I do default, does not contain package, whatever. What do you mean? Sorry, no. This is after SRC, and that's why it's failing. Default file, it is in fact testing, but I can say like this just for I don't get it. So what is it passing actually? What? I don't get it. Why is it failing? This is the default program. We are passing it as a string. This is actually a string as well. This is also a string. Huh? What the fuck? Am I doing something silly and I'm not actually seeing it? So what happens if I just do something like this, I guess? Remove this and this. Will that work? No, I don't get it. Is this like a stupid mistake? again. So we do this and then that. Is it because of this? Huh. Sorry, what? Huh? What? No. Okay, yes. What do you mean? What are your... what? What do you mean you don't have the argument and I'm passing it? What do you mean? What is this? I'm giving you this. What is this? I'm giving you. What the actual fuck? It's even in here. What is this? Huh? Is this a fucking weird ass behavior that is not supposed to happen? What? Huh? I don't fucking get it. Can I just fuck that? And just do that again, I guess, for whatever the fucking reason. No! What do you mean? What is this? What the actual fuck? It is working, look. How? Why? Why it works in here but not in here? What is this? Huh? What happens if I just do this instead then? Chaos view doesn't exist. Fucking made this language. What do you mean? Fuck. What is this? It is working. Why doesn't it work then in here? I'm not going crazy. If I was, I would know. But if I don't, yeah. But if I do this, it should also work. Yes, it works. If it's something that is not supposed to be here, it works. But for fucking whatever reason, it doesn't like this. Even though I know what is this. Let me just fucking remove this. Fucking... Tell me, how is that not fucking working? We have two fucking arguments in here. How? Please explain to me. How? Why? Look. Look. What is this? I can even make it more explicit. Let me run this again. See? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Because I am passing a second argument in here. For this fucking shit to work. Anyway. And why this right here works? Where is the fucking default thing? This is SRC. This is not main. And now it works. How does that make any sense? How does that fucking make any sense? Why this works and everything else doesn't? I don't get it. Huh? And this right here is the same fucking thing. Right? It is the same thing as this right here. It is the same fucking thing. Now, if I use a fucking string in here, it doesn't work. Is that it? Is that a weird behavior from Go that I am not aware of? It doesn't fucking like this? Huh? Oh, that's the fucking reason. No, that's fine. No, this is fine. I'm looking in the wrong place. What? Now it doesn't work. Why it doesn't fucking work? Because file name is technically new. That's fucking why. I fucking hate this. Oh my fucking god. Anyways, any fucking way. Jesus. Okay, let me relax a little bit. I need to take a breath in here because Jesus, man. Anyways, now that I have relaxed a little bit, let's continue. So, another thing that I need to include in here is the run flag, which is run this right here. So if we have this enabled, basically we need to run whatever file we got, which we basically need to strip the final word, the .chaos. How can we do that actually? So is there anything like strip string in Golang or something? Stop. So how can I just like remove the last few words if they match? Golang remove trailing character or something, I don't know. So there is something in strings, I guess. Do I have that already? Sure. So very important, we not only need this, but we also need the file name to be not null or empty, I guess. So we need them both to run this, otherwise it is incorrect. So we basically do strings dot string suffix, I guess, returns this without the right trailing suffix string. Sure. So basically we need to get the actual file name that we got. We need to remove this right here, and this is the binary file. Now the only thing that we need to do is just run it, I guess. So this would be something like this. So this needs to be here, and instead of file name, we don't really care about it, we just need to pass binary file, and that's about it, I guess. We can even just say it like that and should be fine. There are some caveats in here. We need to check that this file actually exists, and if it doesn't, we can just straight up fail, maybe. So like maybe we can just os.exit as an error, let's return 1, and then fmt fprintf os.std error. Did not find the binary whatever, and then we do this. Make sure it exists. And if I do /r, it, yeah, so this is not it. We need to do this because compilation is okay. Huh? Isn't it -r? It is. So if we have this and this, yeah, I can see the issue in here. Basically the problem is that when we do this, it's a different behavior from this. We can do this, or we can actually just copy this in here, and that's fine. Not the best solution, but really I don't fucking care. That is fine. It's either this is not like this, or default file is not empty. That should be fine. Now it should fail. Yep. And another thing that we can even maybe do is like, if binary is equal to this, we can just say like message otherwise it's like not defined, empty or something. And we can just have like, instead of binary file, we have binary name. And now it is working. Did not find binary, make sure it exists. Nice. Okay. And this is not useful right now, but later when I implement the actual assembly step, it should be fine, I guess. And yes, and I can probably just delete this, that is fine. We are building this. If it doesn't exist, great. This is the source, this is the compiler location. If we don't find it, we create it. Otherwise we have compilation when we have debug enabled, otherwise we have this or that, and that should be fine. Okay, which is nice because now I can just do this and it's working. Okay, and if I do the compiling, I can just do like that. You can even double check that it's actually working as expected, because I can introduce an error in here like missing a semicolon, and I can do this and it's working. Nice. And then if I do this again, it is working. Nice. Okay, which makes me sorry about that. So I can probably just delete everything in here, I guess. There are a few things in here that I need to actually include as well in the run. Yes. So when we run it, we need to make sure it exists. Yeah, so this is not only just run the thing, we need to actually make a bunch of changes actually. Yes. So we need to create the assembly file, we need to make sure it exists, and then we need to run Phasma, and then we need to change this. Yeah, so let me actually do that, because the first thing that we need to actually do, so here is not the actual binary file, this will be the assembly file, so this is the Phasma file, and we don't need any of this right now, I guess, because whatever we have is the result, which are, yeah, so this is as printf, and this is the actual actually we do need this. This is just the file, and then we can use file, and then we can do that assembly. That's what we get. Then we need to make sure it is in fact created, otherwise it's an error. So we can even do something like this, I guess, and then do this. Do not find the phasm file, make sure it exists. Nice. Which in fact this should never be empty, so it doesn't make any fucking sense to have it in here like this. So it should be like this. So if it doesn't exist, then it's an error. Okay. After that, we need to actually run phasm to make sure that we can create a binary. And it's simple. I think it's pretty much just that. So this is the phasm, and I can just maybe do this. That is fine. It is going to run. If it fails, it just returns, and you can say whatever error, failed to compile because of whatever reason. And I think that's just fine. We just failed to compile it. That's okay. And after that, if it is in fact compiled, we can then run it. And for us to run it, we basically need to change it, because Go includes weird permissions when it creates a file, so we need to set the correct permissions, I guess. And instead of using this, we need to use just the file, because this is the actual, the file, which is what we get after we strip or trim the suffix, and we run it. And if it fails, we just have an error, and we can just say like failed to, what is them? So not print as printf. So we just need to get the error message, failed to run, because whatever reason. Failed to run. And not the phasm, this is just the file. And that should be fine. I guess we can even check that it's actually okay. Let me compile it again, and then we do default. Nothing happens. If I do -r, fail to touch file because of that, no such file, that's fine. Did not find file, make sure it exists. Okay, it works, that is great. Which now I can probably just delete everything. And I think there's something for help. Let me check, where is help? How can I just have help? I don't remember, but I know there's a way for us to have like a help or something, where if you type it, it's like kind of automatic or something. How to use help with Go flags? Okay, I think it's default actually. So I think it is the default. Let me check actually if we do have like H. Okay, it just works. Nice. Okay, that is okay. And if I have like -- help, it should be fine as well. Okay. So this means that I can probably just delete everything. and that's a better implementation of whatever the hell I had before. It's more scalable as well. So what happens if I pass something that doesn't exist? I don't remember. Can I say like this? Not defined. Okay. Great. Which now makes me able to do something like tests, and then we can use like assignments, and that works. Or maybe binary operations, it fails because something is out of scope. If I do procs, it works. If I do scopes, it actually works as well, which is a lot better than I had before, which was all hard-coded, kind of annoying. And it solves the initial problem that I had, which was, as I said, hard coding shit. So I think I can basically just commit everything for now. Yeah. So what do we have in here? So git, actually let me check the src chaos. So this is not needed actually, that is fine. What do we have in tests and procs? Okay, just minor things that it's not important. So git add chaos, git commit. What should we include in here? Improving tooling for compiling the language or something, and that should be it. So let's see. In fact, it is in fact working. It is here. Nice. Not a lot of changes. 77, that's fine. And I think that I'll be doing just a small break because I've been talking for a while and I do need to use the bathroom and get something to drink. So yeah, 10 minutes break or something, maybe 10. I need to make maybe a coffee, or no, not coffee, maybe some tea, some water, I don't know. 15 minutes break. Be right back. So yeah, be right back. So I'm back. Now that it's working, maybe I can do something a little bit different. And what I actually want to do is inside of here I want to have like a maybe run test or something. Maybe it's like run tests, and it's also a flag. For now just a boolean, and it's called tests. By default it's false, and it is like run unit tests or something. And basically that's it, I guess. And in here we'll be doing a bunch of things that are similar to what I already have in here, I guess. So maybe it's something like if it is like run tests, we do something at the end, we can just exit with 0 because we don't want anything to be ran after that. And then we can just run everything that is inside of the tests folder and make sure it is actually working. So that sounds okay, I guess. So fmt, if we printf, if just print actually, can I do something like, and then t is test, it reached. Nice. And if we echo the last output, it is in fact correct. Okay. Now what I need to do, I can have it not in here, but in here we have tests, and it is inside of tests. How are we? So not this, and then we can have it in here. Do we have other? No. Source dir, that is okay. This is dir. Compiler location, sure, this is different. And the thing that I want to do is I want to get all the files inside of this test directory, but I don't know really how to do that, so let's take a look how to get files. Golang get files in directory. So read dir, is that it, I guess? So if we have something like, instead of this, it's printf, and then we can just print whatever we have, and this is the test dir. And what is the result of that? Sure. Yeah, okay. Years, whatever. Okay. And then we can just basically loop through this and we can do whatever. So if we have like, this is not dirs, this is actually files. So if we have like whatever file in this range in here from files, basically we can just print the actual file. and this is a string, I would assume. Now, why the hell is it using a dash? Huh? Is there a better alternative to this? Because that's stupid. We need to do something like this? That's silly. That's stupid. Whatever. I don't fucking go, I guess. Anyway. So, what I want to do now. I know that the compiler exists. So basically what I need to do is run the same thing over and over. And I need to get the result out of it. And I need to basically assert that is correct, I guess. And if it isn't, it fails. So how about we do it like this? We get this. Instead of the default file, we get the name. And then we try to run it. For now, let's not. We just say that it's an error, fprintf os.std error. We can just say that error failed to run whatever during unit tests. It doesn't really matter. Technically it's not a unit test, but I just need something to be working. So this is file.name. Let's do the following. This is like file name. You can just include file name in here, make it easier. Name. So first let's compile it again, and then let's run test. It's like test or tests, I don't remember. It's test. Yes, it doesn't exist because actually I need to pass the actual directory for this, which is just this. So not in here, actually that's a mistake, in here. So this is the actual path, this is the test directory. So run this and then test. And it failed on the first one. I mean, not the first one. I can't even. Let's do the following. We can do the following. So this is the index of this. We can just say like fmt printf running the file, and then we can just say the file, which is this file name. And we can say which run it is, which can be like maybe something like this. I don't think we have more than that. Maybe that's just like this. And we include the index of that. And then we need to include a new line. And then we rerun. And just for the sake of consistency, let's make this like this. Yeah, so this is, yeah, so that's okay. And after that we can even do something like this. We can continue it if it fails, and we can say failed. Yeah, it is already saying it failed, so here we can say this is not like this. We can say success running this file, and then we can just remove the ID of that because it's not relevant. Just delete. So 1, 2, 3, and we can, because this is counting, we can basically just, instead of using this, we can say iteration. It's basically the x plus 1, and then we can just replace this instead of this. Yeah, that's fine, iteration. Yeah, so I need to do it again. So now it is correct. So as you can see, we do have like running file, success, running wherever, failed, failed, this is the error. Did I forget? No, it seems okay, I guess. Just some weird things. I don't get why we have this, but that's fine. I don't really mind it. So important thing, when we run a command, we get this right here. Yeah, so I think for now I don't care. Yeah, that's okay. So if we go to tests actually, and then we go to assignments, we'll have a bunch of examples in here. Some of them work and some of them don't actually work, but I think that is fine. I mean, everything here actually works, you know, but I do want to include things that don't actually work. So if I rename this to assignments, okay, we can maybe create something that is not okay. So maybe we can have like assignments failure, I guess. So we have assignments failure, and then we can have like example, I don't know, something is equal to not existing, and this is like a string or something, I don't know. This is an error that covers pretty much everything related to assignments, I guess. So if we go back, we can run it again. So okay, test, and yeah, so this one fails as we expect, the others are okay, and that's fine. So it's a primitive type of testing, but it's enough for now that I don't mind having. Eventually I want to have like a mapping of what we are expecting, and then look into the output of the compilation step and so on and so forth, and getting the exit code so that we can compare that and use that as a mechanism for us to define if it is a failure or not. But for now this is more than enough. We can just run it and we can vibe check if it is working. So yeah, so let's move this to basically being okay. And I think there's an error in here. If I no, this is correct actually. So if I do a copy of this to, did I copy it in? Yeah, so I need to do this to failure. So if I look into the failure, basically what I need to do is something like this, I guess, and it should fail the same way. We don't even need anything more than that, just like this, and that should be fine. If I look for really, so yeah, we have more than one failure in here, that's fine. The other one is okay, it's running as expected. So let's go back to tests, and if I look into procs, these should be fine. We can even make it more complicated. We have like input 1 is a string, input 2 is like a boolean, and that should actually work as well. So if we have like a variable 4, we can say that this is input 1, and that should work if I remember correctly. That is valid. For now I don't have return types because, you know, to focus on other things to implement that, but that should be whatever. Now if I basically run this right here, so tests and then procs, it should work. It in fact works. So if I go back and create different things, so I can basically move procs to procs OK, and then I can just copy procs OK to procs failure, and then I can just create something that doesn't actually work. So maybe a simple example, I guess. So something like this should be fine. This is fine because this is a syntax error. I mean, I don't think that's a good example. Yeah, maybe that's okay for now, not having a failure for procs. But for scopes, yeah, for scopes we do have a bug that I don't want to handle right now, so I just move this to scopes OK, and then we can look into failure cases later, I guess. But if I now compile this using the test flag, we can see a lot is happening here, and we can see all of the runs that we have. And one thing that I think I will do, just to make it easier, is whatever. For now, I don't really mind. I will just hard code a bunch of things later. I can just change it. Something like this. That should be fine. Just so that we know the difference between what is happening and what is not happening. So this is not working, but if I do this right now, it is working, and we can differentiate it. So this is run number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So if it is okay, so binops okay, it's failing, so I probably need to fix this. What is the actual error? Binop is not defined. Okay, so if I go into binops, okay, binop 1, sorry, what? Oh yeah, because this is binop instead of bion. So let's go back, run it again, and now it is okay. So the two that are failing are expected to failures, so failure and failure. Everything else is okay, so it is working, which is fine. And yeah, that's a good thing actually. So what do we have in here? We do have a lot of things. So before I continue, do we need anything else in here? So yeah, if it doesn't exist, we create it. Otherwise, we are running this. We have to do a bunch of things later, but not right now because I don't feel like it. But it's already looking good. Okay. I think that's okay. So git add everything here. Add everything. So what we are doing in here, we are basically introducing a simple unit test mechanism that we can improve over time, but for now is okay. So let's see what it looks like now. I mean, not a lot of changes. It was pretty quick, just 28 changes, but enough to make sure that we do have some mechanism for testing fucking things, and we can improve that over time for sure, but right now that is not priority. I just needed something to iterate fast, and this is fast enough, I guess. So I can just do this and assignment, and I can just say the okay version, or if I don't want to, I just testing, that should be fine. And maybe I can, instead of doing testing as the name, I can just say like, this is like, I don't know, main.chaos or something, which makes it easier for me to just run main.chaos. That's okay, that is working, and it's fine. Nice, very nice. Okay, I think that's pretty much it that I had to do today. So I think I will end the stream for today. So yeah, I think I'll finish it for today. It was pretty much pretty productive, actually, more productive than I expected, and now I do have a better workflow than I had before, so yeah, that's nice. Anyway, thank you very much. See you guys.